Good afternoon. Mountain Musings. What does it mean to be pure? Part 2. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. Romans 13:2, English Standard Version. I like driving fast. Like most American males, I secretly believe that I would make an excellent race car driver. I often imagine myself snapping through the gears while driving in a road rally in the forests of northern Europe, or maybe jouncing across the dunes of the Dakar. I don't think I would be a particularly good NASCAR driver. Uh, Driving fast and turning left repeatedly would get boring to me, and I fear I would lose my concentration, and concentration is required to drive fast. Whatever the case, whatever the race, I really believe I could do well as a race car driver. Like most American males, I like machinery and I enjoy cars that go fast. Uh, when I was stationed in Germany on our first tour, I found the Autobahn an exhilarating experience. I had a Honda Accord sedan. As a family man, I needed a four-door car. However, I added a few little aftermarket tweaks, speed-rated tires, a little stiffer suspension, new engine chip that would allow me to rev higher and change the fuel mixture. So pretty soon my little rice burner was approaching 125 miles an hour. So I enjoyed the Autobahn. Plus, I worked on top of a mountain, and the road to the top of the mountain was back and forth through orchards and forests and a lot of hairpin turns, and I really enjoyed working on reducing my speed. And by the time I left that assignment, I had reduced my time from my house to work quite appreciably. It was a lot of fun. But somewhere along the way, during that first tour, I kind of exercised my need to drive fast. Subsequent tours in Germany, we took the train. I found travel by train was pleasant and enjoyable. I could read a good book, chat with Christy, watch my children roam about the car, and arrive at our destination and not have to play that eternal European game of where's the parking space. So I enjoyed that. But even with that being the case, I still like to drive fast. And inevitably, my foot will just get farther and farther down to the floorboard, and I will be going very fast, and Christy will say, "Do you realize how fast you are going?" Consequently, I use my cruise control habitually. Set it on the speed limit and then sit back and enjoy the drive. That way I avoid tickets, higher insurance rates, but something more important, I avoid defaming the name of my Lord. You see, God is holy, set apart, and He wants His children to reflect that holiness, and that includes being law-abiding citizens. When I was a high school teacher, I was always astounded at how casually my students took breaking the speed limit, or any other traffic laws for that matter. They just considered it okay, and were frankly quite annoyed if they were stopped by an appropriate law enforcement authority and given a ticket. And I kind of wondered at that. I taught at a parochial school, so I imagined it would be different. But no, after talking with their parents and watching their parents drive in the school parking lot, I came to realize that their parents didn't care either. Breaking the law was not a problem to them. But for us as believers, that ought not to be so. Jesus says in Matthew 5:16, "In the same way let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven." Wherever we go, whatever we do, we represent the Lord. And when I disregard the laws of the land, even those that I consider minor or bothersome, I show through my actions and at times my words that God does not care about good order and discipline, and that's just not true. This does not reflect a holy and powerful God. As those of us who are proclaiming Christians, who say we follow the Lord, we sometimes are the only example that our co-workers and friends, sometimes family members, see of someone who says that they are a Christian. And when we flout the law, they take note. Our indifference does not reflect well upon the Lord. But that is not the only reason that we should seek purity, even in this minor thing. Again, Jesus says, one who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much. And one who is dishonest in a little is also dishonest in much. Luke 16:10. You and I, indeed our culture, may consider speeding a minor thing. However, Jesus does not agree. He understands the importance of little things. And when we faithfully discharge our duties in little things, when the big things turn up, we will have built the practice of doing the right thing, and so do it. If, however, we develop a casual indifference toward minor laws, traffic laws, for example, we will plant the seeds that will ultimately bear the fruit of moral failure. What seems to be minor really is, in this light, something that is ultimately major. When I was in the Army, I saw multiple careers and families destroyed because of minor indiscretions. We need to heed the warning of Jesus and use the little things to build our spiritual muscles for the inevitable major tests that will come our way. If we practice the skills needed to withstand temptation on small things, when the big temptations come our way, we will have the necessary resources. We'll know what to do. Seen this way, something as minor and as casual as indifference towards speeding becomes more important, weightier than we previously thought. But it's not the only issue at stake. Moses said, "And these words that I command you today shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise." Deuteronomy 6:6-7. God, through Moses, describes a father teaching his children all the time. And in reality, we do. Children are always watching, always learning. They pay attention. There's an old saying that says, little pitchers have big ears. And it's speaking to that. They keenly observe what we do and what we say, and then they compare the two. They quickly understand and integrate our inconsistencies into their own worldview. I may tell my children that doing the right thing is important. However, when I ignore traffic laws, I teach them the opposite. And I should not be surprised when my children disregard the things that I tell them. Whether I like it or not, my behavior carries more weight than my words. And my children are constantly observing. Simply stated, a casual attitude towards breaking the law, any law, does not reflect a holy God and does not serve my children well. If we want to grow in our relationship with the Lord and set the appropriate example to our children, we must embrace this concept of obedience to the law, even the laws our culture and ourselves may think unimportant. When we casually defy the law of the land, we inexorably bend our character away from the Lord. Even if our own culture displays casual indifference, we must not. God remains holy, and his call is to compliance. As fathers, we must remember that our children are always watching, and in many ways, they build their picture of God on how we, their earthly fathers, act. We want to help our children build a more accurate image of God in their hearts, one of a holy father who does not take law-breaking casually. Our performance does not gain acceptance or salvation, but it does indicate the depth or seriousness of our relationship. I hope you find these words helpful. I hope you seriously consider your own attitude towards the law, even the simple traffic laws. But I also hope that you give me some feedback, that you tell me what you think, maybe offer some areas of improvements, leave a like or a dislike, because I can only get better through your feedback. And please understand that this is an area of challenge. I like to drive fast, and I'm very quick to resort to that old chestnut. Well, they give you 5 miles an hour over anyway. But is that right? Have a good afternoon.